Okay, let's just jump right in and tackle this category that no one wants to hear about, which is foods to avoid. And their specific language is foods to avoid other than a special treat. So I guess don't look at it as the recommendations to never eat these again for as long as you live, but that they shouldn't be regular. They shouldn't be daily. That's for darn sure. They should really be a special treat that you have few and far between, and then just really savor when you have them. And again, I don't think any of these are going to be a surprise to you, but let's go through them. Well, maybe one of them will. The first category is sugary beverages. So I think the obvious thing that most people know is like soda, pop, milkshakes, or sweetened coffee drinks, or all those fancy floofy things that they do at the coffee drive-thrus that are blended and thick. They typically have a ton of sugar in them, so they're considered a sweetened beverage. But other things you might not be aware of that have a lot of sugar are some of the bottle drinks like Snapple. I know everyone thinks vitamin water is super healthy, but it has a lot of added sugar in it, so it's got 120 calories, so it's not calorie free, and the calories are coming from sugar. So it's, yes, it has vitamins in it, but it also has sugar so that it tastes good to you. Sports drinks, Gatorade, Powerade, all those all have high fructose corn syrup or sugar added. Things that look like fruit juice that aren't really fruit juice, so this like fruit punch is considered a sweetened drink. And then a lot of the teas, even though tea is healthy for you, black or green or white, a lot of the bottled or canned tea drinks are sweetened tea, so they have a lot of sugar added. So on the list of foods to avoid other than a special treat, it's basically any sweetened drink from a drive-through, coffee cart, bottle, or can that someone already added a bunch of sugar to. Category 2, salty snacks. Everybody's favorite. Potato chips, for an example, tortilla chips as an example, crackers like Ritz or saltines or something. Salty snacks like chips and crackers typically are made with, if they're a cracker, the ones that we love, like Ritz and saltines, are made with white flour. And then the salty snacks like potato chips and tortilla chips are fried in oil, so, and then a bunch of salt. So not great, and should be a special treat and not an everyday food. Category 3, and this is the one that when I talk about this in my nutrition class, it makes people very sad, so I'll just apologize in advance. Processed meats. So processed meat is different from meat or regular meat in that something's been added to it so that it's not just fresh raw meat that I'm cooking, but it's a preserved meat typically. So something is added to the raw meat, like salt or a preservative, that keeps it good for a really long time. And that is so convenient, and it served human beings, throughout history to be able to have meat, and maybe without refrigeration or whatever, to have the meat stay good for a long time by being salted or smoked. But we know that consumption of these foods, of processed meats that have smoking or salt or preservatives added to them, seems to very negatively impact human health. So just to recap some examples of processed foods: sausage, bacon, ham, lunch meat or bologna, hot dogs. And I always note with this one, who do we give hot dogs to? I know adults like them too, but we love to give hot dogs to children, and that's, I'm just going to gently suggest that that's a tradition or a habit that you move away from, if possible. Other sausages, and then beef jerky too is certainly salted or preserved meat. And then the last category of foods to avoid other than a special treat are packaged sweets, like cookies and candy bars. And again, just think of that in the context of not never, but not an everyday food either. And kind of viewed as a special treat, an infrequent treat, and trying to fill our plates and our lunch boxes and our glasses with things that benefit health and promote health, and whenever we can, try and minimize the things that seem to be associated with poor health or disease. And those are the categories I covered today, which is foods to avoid other than for a special treat. Oh, I forgot to recap. So the 4 categories are sugary beverages, salty snacks, processed meat, and packaged cookies and candy.